outgoing, it looks like the much anticipated summit of ASEAN leaders to help find a peaceful solution to the ongoing crisis in the country is going to materialize very soon. But at this very juncture, does the voice of ASEAN countries still matter?
Oh, it matters very much. And I think ASEAN roles in the Myanmar crisis is the best way out at the moment. But it takes time for ASEANs to come out with common approach because you need consensus for the 10 member countries, including, in this case, the military junta in Naypyidaw.
But at this point, do you think the 9 ASEAN countries, excluding Myanmar, are speaking with one voice on this issue?
Well, I must admit to you, a certain ASEAN country have a stronger views against the junta. For example, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. But you have to look at it as a division of labor. You know, they were giving a really strong view in order to create a space for ASEAN to get together and discuss in order to find a common approach and methods to deal with a crisis in Myanmar.
The ASEAN summit will be very much watched by international community, and to see General Min Aung Hlaing appear in the summit, what do you think would be the gesture among ASEAN leaders?
I think ASEAN leaders would welcome the fact that he has the courage to come. That already, I think ASEAN would be very happy because to meet face to face with the Myanmar leaders is very important so that they can have dialogue and agree face to face, eye to eyes, you know, so you can have personal rapport. I think that's very important.
And do you think ASEAN leaders can really tell him directly what they think about the situation in Myanmar?
Well, I think this kind of session is an opportunity for both sides to explain what they have in mind. ASEAN certainly have common position that has been expressed through the joint chairman's statement on the 1st of February. And I think the position that will come out later on is that ASEAN want ceasefire in Myanmar, release of political detainees, and start dialogues and reconciliation process immediately. That are the 3, I think, the most important conditions that the ASEAN leader would like to work and get consensus from all ASEAN countries, including the juntas.
The international community is placing a lot of expectations on ASEAN, and many believe that this is going to be a very, very big test for ASEAN, the so-called ASEAN centrality,
yes.
Right? The world, I mean, is watching very closely. But do ASEAN leaders, are they conscious of this expectation that the world has on it?
Oh, definitely. I think ASEAN has been in existence for 54 years. It's under pressure all the time because of the changing international environment. And this time, whatever happened in Myanmar is not dissimilar with other political crises like the SAR, the financial crisis, but it was a different nature. So ASEAN realized that situation in Myanmar challenged the relevancies of ASEAN and also its centrality. This is why ASEAN has been very careful and a little bit more assertive than before in pushing Myanmar for future settlement.
You were saying that the fact that different ASEAN leaders have come out to say different things on Myanmar, right? And you describe it as a division of labor. So where is Thailand? What part of is Thailand playing in this whole
well,
scenario?
Thailand is, I would describe as behind the scene pusher, is an influencer. You have to remember any decisions that ASEAN agree, Thailand must be part of it because Thailand is the country most affected by the situation in Myanmar, especially our borders, the impact of influx of whoever freeing political conflict. So Thailand is very much in the equations, but a lot of people didn't hear much because I think the Thai government has been too much involved with domestic politics, and I think from now on the Thai government need to come out and explain a little bit more to the public, you know, regarding the situation in Myanmar and also Thailand reaction.
Do you expect ASEAN leaders to really touch upon details of the internal politics of Myanmar, like extension of the emergency situation and the next election?
Well, I think ASEAN will ask for, as I said, three conditions. No killings. Make sure you have release whatever political detainees and start the dialogue. I think that would. Details, I don't think ASEAN leader will go much further. That would let the senior officials to work that out, I think.
No, but at the end of the day, how successful this summit will be all depends on the reaction from the Myanmar military leadership, right? So
Yes.
what is your guess at this point?
No, I think if Myanmar agreed to come, there must be some degrees of consensus already. Otherwise, this meeting will never take place. So once it takes place, there must be some high degree of consensus already on certain key issue. Otherwise, this will be very damaging for ASEAN. I don't think that will happen. So there must be some positive outcome from this meeting.